Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, August 31st, 2021. And today we really just had a range day. This price level right here ended up being the highs of the range. And here, I'll show you right there. And you can see we made a measured move down. And that pretty much held prices in that range. So let me get rid of these overnight highs and lows to make it a little more clean. And in the overnight we made that sharp leg up, but then it was kind of like a spike and channel down. We had this downward trend. That channel broke, and then we made a leg down and a leg of correction, and then another leg down. I guess maybe you could look at this as one leg down, two legs down to a new high. But this, I thought this kind of looked like a spike and channel. This kind of looks like a repeat pattern of this kind of. But yeah, there was a lot of aggressive trades in here, especially with this upward channel here. I'll get rid of the. No, I don't want to get rid of this stuff because it's pretty helpful. But anyway, yeah, let's take a look at this. So a little bit before 5, we have this congestive area that ended up being very important. Let's see what time this is. 4:30. So this is a lower high off the trend line, but we're not sure. We had this overshoot, so we're not sure if prices are going to break the trend line. They don't, so I don't think you can enter here. And prices bounce at the measured move, and this is just the first entry really. This isn't the high of the swing, so it's a second entry, but you can't enter on it. But yeah, we have the spike and channel down, and you really don't even get a good opportunity to like clearly go short in here. This is a great signal bar, but it's just a first entry, and we didn't have this trend channel drawn yet. So this right here isn't the high of the swing. I don't think. Oh wait, okay, never mind. This looks good to me. I'm gonna mark it as aggressive because it looks slightly congested, but that is a matching high. So you could go short on that. Like this is you could look at this as a new swing high since this started a new channel, and first failed second entry long. That's what I would look at it as. Even though this is where you would start, but this just feels like the beginning of the channel. I like that. I like this entry here. And then here we don't get anything. And then from here, first, second entry short. I like that. And you know what? I think I could mark this as. Yeah, no, you know what? I think you have to keep that as aggressive because you're going into the lows there. You're not going into these lows, so that's nice, but you're going into these lows, the measured move. So that makes me a little more nervous, but that's clearly a channel. And we haven't had a break of that. Another reason to mark this as aggressive is because we don't touch the bottom of that channel yet. Or right here, I mean. But here you get a first entry, failed second entry, and you know what? This one even, I might mark this as, I'm going to mark this as red. Because that is clearly a channel. And we're making lower lows, lower highs, so I think that's a good entry. And here, I mean, we start reversing. I don't think you can go long here. I think that's too early. But you see we get a first entry, failed second entry short here. And we create this trend up. And then you get a higher low. And I think if you're being really aggressive, you can take that right there. But I don't think you can take anything else in here. And that steep move up turns into this channel here. This is just a potential channel that I had drawn. I don't think it's like that in the end. I think you really just got to be playing this larger channel. So this one, I don't know, Mac might mark this one, but this looks a little too, I don't feel like I'd be confident in my trend line at this point. But once you get, I look at this as a double bottom, so first entry, failed second entry short. Maybe you can go, I like that. I like that for a failed second entry short right here. First entry, failed second entry short here. This one's super aggressive because the signal bar didn't close. It closed as a doji. Here, let me see if I can get rid of the... Nah, we got to keep that in there. So you can see this one closed as a doji. That is a failure though, and it looked, at that time, it looked like we had a trend line like this working up. So I took that trade, and I'm not too crazy about it, but it's off the EMA. It's near the trend line, but it's a doji, so that's why you got to be careful, because right after that we get overlapping bars. But once we got this bar, I was pretty confident. And yeah, that looks like a, it kind of this one looks like a second entry long, even though it's really a first entry. It broke higher and then went lower and then closed up here. So that's why I marked that one. And then this one, so the reason I marked this one is because this looked like congestion. And really, I would have had this probably drawn like this. So this looks like a failed breakout at congestion. So you might be aggressive and go there. And if you have this trend line drawn, you get this first, second entry. I think that's a great entry. Even though this looks like the top of congestion, that trend line, we're consistently making higher lows and higher highs. So I like that entry. We hit the top of this level of resistance once, twice, 3 times, and that's when we form this really strong move down. And unfortunately, you don't get any opportunities to enter that. We get an overshoot that leads to a break. And I looked at this as a double bottom. So we get this first entry, second entry short, and it's off of that level of resistance. So we got overlapping bars here, so that's why it's aggressive. Not a lot of great entries here today. Yeah. So this is very congestive stuff. We come down here, we hit the measured move again after hitting it here yet again. We get a first entry, second entry short on this engulfing bar. This is aggressive, but I think this is probably one of the best setups you're gonna get on a day like today. That's choppy with not a lot of clean setups. So I apologize. There's probably an hour of missing price action here. Let's see. At 12:05, I had to put my computer to sleep so I could right here. I had to put my computer to sleep so I could save my battery and make this video. So all this is still accurate, but I don't know what happened in here. So that's what I saw for today. Let's take a look at my entries. So the trend was down in the overnight, and so actually a very strong move down. And I had my trend line drawn differently, and actually my data was showing something completely, not completely different, but pretty different than this. So this was looking a bit congestive, but we got a first entry, second entry short, and here it's saying I got filled on this bar, but the way my chart was set up, I'd put my entry a tick below this and it got filled right away. And yeah, so I think this is all right. The thing I don't like is that this was a 17 tick bar that I entered on. Here it's saying 18. There's no way I can enter that with real money. Even I mean, unless I decrease my contracts. So that's one reason why I didn't really like that entry, but I think, reading the chart, it's okay. But another reason I didn't like this is look at where my target is, down here. Here. That was one tick above the absolute low of the overnight. So a very aggressive trade. That's one thing I didn't like about it, is it's going into the lows, but it's a second entry. So, and here we got a when I had my chart open, this was actually a really good setup for a failed second entry long. First entry, second entry, and you got a good signal bar. Here's the signal bar, looks no good. But yeah, so that's a trade I took. Ended up working out, but it was very aggressive, a little too aggressive for my liking. Okay, here. All right, so yeah, this is a failure. And we were consistently making higher highs and higher lows for, almost an hour and a half at this point, or no, 50 minutes, so almost an hour at this point. And this is pretty clearly a trend. But yeah, higher highs. So I took this failure. I looked at this as a double bottom. First entry, failed second entry right here. First entry, failed second entry right here. And you can see prices playing off the EMA and that trend line. So this was close enough for me. I took it. Again, this is a little aggressive, and I'm not getting a lot of screen time lately. So I think with how aggressive my entry was over here, I should probably call it a day if it's successful, and not get too aggressive later in the day. But this worked out too, and I mean it's with trend. I'm not trading counter trend, so. Yeah, but I mean, if you're patient, let's see. 752. 20 minutes later, you get a really good entry right here. So, but yeah, those were my entries today. I hope everyone had a great day, and I will be back tomorrow.